Okay, so we are back. Let's read the correct answers to reading task 3. So, first question or first sentence, where are we going to put it in which paragraph? So, first sentence it says, work that required little training was done mostly by settlers. The correct answer here is C. So we are going to find this information in the paragraph C. Where do we see this? It says the construction began in 1826. Independent contractors in 1826. Sorry, independent contractors were in charge of building the waterways, while the Royal Engineers oversaw its design. The skilled work was done primarily by French Canadians, including stonemasons, blacksmiths, and carpenters. The unskilled labor was carried out by immigrants. So, the unskilled labor was carried out by immigrants mainly from Ireland. That means little training, work that required little training, that's unskilled labor, right? It's not as fancy as masons, blacksmiths, stonemasons, carpenters. It says mostly by settlers. Who are the settlers? Exactly, the immigrants. Now you see how hard this becomes. It's hard because obviously now we are using different synonyms and different words. So, work that required a little training was done mostly by settlers. The Rideau Canal project spanned several years. Paragraph C. The construction began in 1986, and the canal was completed in November 1831 and officially opened in 1832. Right? So Rideau Canal project spent several years, not few years, but several years. So obviously from 1826 to 1832 or 31. All right, next one. The plan for the canal arose from the need of greater protection. Question 3, paragraph B. The motivation for the canal's construction came from a need for defense, right? The plan from canal arose from the need of greater protection. What is greater protection? Defense, obviously, right? So now you have to use a lot of logic, a lot of phrasing. You have to know some idioms as well, and you have to know different synonyms. Reading is your best friend here. All right. The Rideau Canal has a year-round appeal. Basically, it means it's attractive throughout the whole year, throughout the whole seasons. It says the question 4, the correct answer is D. How do we see this? D. Although the canal was never used for its intended purpose, defense, right? It was a commercial success. It became a part of early settlement as a supply route, blah, blah, blah. Presently, the canal functions chiefly as a waterway for leisure, craft, and recreation. The scenic location offers entertainment, blah, 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 blah. For this section, the Rideau Canal is popular with tourists and locals alike due to its history and variety of attractions. Canoeing, snowing. So basically, it has a year-round appeal because you can do a lot of things in different kind of seasons, right? So cycling, hiking, canoeing, snowshoeing, skiing, and skating, right? Well, of course, skating, skiing, cycling, dining, canoeing, and skating. Basically, you connect those two. On this canal, basically, it's a big body of water. At some point, you can do skating, and at some point, you can also do some canoeing, right? It only shows that you can do that in different seasons. You cannot do canoeing in winter, or you cannot do skating in the middle of the summer, right? So, since they mentioned all these kind of things, all these attractive things, and that means that in the question for D, that's why in the question for D is the correct answer. Special devices allow boats to travel through different levels of water in the canal. Question 5A, where do we find this? It is North America's oldest continuously operated canal system. The overall design involves a series of 52 dams that control the water levels and 47 stone locks that allow watercraft to pass through a series of enclosures. So 47 stone locks that allow watercraft to pass through a series of enclosures. containing different levels of water. This is a special kind of mechanism, this 47 stone logs. That's why it says that's the special device that allows boats to travel through different levels of water in the canal. That's where you're going to find question 5 in paragraph A. That's where you're going to find your answer here. Question 6. Colonel John By managed the canal construction project from Montreal. Now, this was kind of tricky, but pretty easy as well, because if you take a look, it says this one, the answer for this one, question 6E, it never mentioned that he was managing canal from Montreal. We mentioned him in a little bit in the, just a second, D, skin and skin, not D, no, sorry. Yeah, B, paragraph B, it says, Lieutenant Colonel By of Britain Royal Engineers was tasked with designing a navigable waterway to serve as a secure military supply route between Montreal and Kingston. In the same sentence, we mention John By and Montreal and Kingston, but he was designing a navigable waterway, right? That waterway was between Montreal and Kingston. He was designing this waterway that connects these two cities, but it never says from which point, in which city he was doing all this job, all this work. So that's why it's E. That was question 6. Question 7. Business in nearby communities profited from the canal's construction. Now, paragraph D might lead us with its information to choose paragraph D as the answer here. The answer is actually E. Presently, canal functions chiefly as a waterway for leisure, craft, and entertainment. The scenic location offers entertainment for every season, including dining, museums, fishing, hiking. There are a lot of business potential here, but nobody mentions profit. So that's why it's E. Next one, question 8C. The bulk of the work of the canal was carried out by hand. In C, we can find that independent contractors. The skilled work was done primarily by French Canadians, including stonemasons, blacksmiths, and carpenters. All these professions use hands, not like some specific kind of industrial machinery. So, and also, Irish unskilled labor was carried by immigrants, mainly from Ireland. So Irish settlers also did unskilled labor. The last question, question 9, it says, military goods were never actually transported along the canal. D. How do we know this? So the canal was never used for its intended purpose. It was a commercial success. They used it for supply route for local resources. They supplied lumber, grains, minerals, farming products. It says it was never used for its intended purpose, which is defense, right? So that's why military goods were never actually transported along the canal. So it was never used for its intended purpose. Those were the questions for reading task 3. Now, I mean, you can see that how difficult this becomes, how overly complicated it becomes. Task 4 is the killer. Now, task 4 is super difficult, even for the native speakers. But, nothing can beat a little bit of preparation. Now, let's mention how does the task 4 look like. It says reading for viewpoints. This finally brings us to the final part of the reading test. Here, you will read an article. This article contains at least 2 different options on a certain topic. You should choose the best answer based on what is given in the article. For the final 10 questions, you will have 13 minutes to finish this part of the test. But for the last 5 questions, you need to choose the best answers based on different article. This article contains comments or reactions to the first article. What you are going to do now is you are going to open the reading task 4. Again, there's no time limit. Reading task 4 Word document. Take as much time as you need. Read it thoroughly. Skim it first, then scan it later, and then answer the questions. I'll be back with the answers. See you soon.